And with me, I have Raven, and I have Jazz from Killing Joke. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Yeah, we're tolerating it all.
Raven, it's a kind of return to the Midlands for you, isn't it?
Sure is, sure is.
A Wolverhampton lad.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you like the Midlands? Do you like to go back?
I do. I like what the Midlands was, but unfortunately, it's all dying now. It's sad to see. It used to be a lot of exciting places to go and a lot of exciting things to do. And I mean, just my brief looks at it when I come back, which isn't very often.
Jazz, you're from not a million miles away, down in Cheltenham.
Yeah, horrible, vile middle-class place. Everyone's got too much money down there.
Blaster.
Did your family have too much money?
No, I come from my parents are teachers, you know, and my man actually, he left school at 14 and a half and he couldn't read and write properly. By the time he was 32, he was a deputy headmaster and a trained architect. Yeah, all my life I was sort of like taking great pleasure in watching people who have got to positions of high responsibility by using their willpower, right? And this relates directly to Killing Joke, I feel.
How did Killing Joke form? I mean, was it a Cheltenham-based idea?
No, far from it. I decided to move to Notting Hill Gate, and I went to sign on one day. It was a very strange experience, actually. I went to sign on one day. I'm standing there in the Dell queue, and there's this Indian-looking character standing in front of me, and he turns around and he says, "Hello, I'm called Carlos," he says. He says, and he just starts talking to me as though we know each other, you know. And he said, "Listen, I live around the corner in a place called Portland Road, and I've got somebody who wants to meet you because I've been talking about, oh, I'm a musician, I'm looking for another musician who's got similar ideas." He says, "I know someone who's going to want to meet you." So we left the Dole office after we signed on and all that, you know, and I went around the corner and we went in this lovely old house, right? Walked right at the top of this house, opened the door, lo and behold, I walk in and there's Big Paul sitting there, and I go, "Hello," and he'd already told me that this geezer's called Paul, and he goes, "Hello," and we looked at each other, and I kind of knew this guy, and we somehow knew that something was going to start from it.
And that was the start of Killing Joke?
That was the start of Killing Joke.
Right from the start, you've been labelled as a punk band.
Well, that's rubbish, it's cool, none of us are punks anyway. Listen, we love rhythm, right? And we love intense music. All my life, I like sort of intense music, whether it's classical music or whatever. I've always liked
conviction. Conviction.
Turn the volume up to excruciating levels, right? And I like music like that, basically, you know. And ultimately, I became involved in it, you know. I like the idea of a cult band, you know, taken to extremes, basically, you know, and with a cult following. A band that, wherever it plays, there's a gathering of people there who relate directly to the level of emotion inherent within the music. And this is what we've been working hard for in Killing Joke, right? We have not taken the easy way out with our music. We're not Duran Duran, right? And we know we knew from the beginning that the idea of a hit single for Killing Joke will always be a difficult thing, because we have a different direction in music. We like to go into areas that haven't been trodden, you could say, musically, and we continue to keep this, to persevere in this line of direction, come what may, come what whether we have money or we have no money, right? Actually, we're okay for money at the moment, actually, as it goes, but you know, but even if we didn't, we still continue this direction, right?
Do you want to be stars? Raven, you're
Stars.
Relatively new to the band. Yeah, I mean, do you want to walk down, let's say it's Wolverhampton High Street, I don't know, and do you want people to say, "Oh look, there's Raven from Killing Joke," and rush up to you with autograph books? Do you want the Duran Duran?
No, I don't. I don't. It doesn't nothing for me at all. I mean, the idea of it doesn't stimulate my mind either way, to be honest.
And anyway, in Killing Joke, that doesn't work, right? Because we're not set up like that. You know, it's not like that. People like us, basically, for our work, essentially for our work and for our work only, and that is how we like to be recognised, for that and that alone. Not
People
for
come to see Killing Joke for that feeling that they don't get anywhere else.
You know,
And
not
it's a
pretty
simple
faces,
thing.
you know, although we are pretty faces, right? You know, not sort of pretty faces like leering over sort of top of the pops like magazines and all that. We're just not, we're not of that calibre, right, you know. But I feel that we are going to be very big by next year. I mean, very big, in a big sort of way, in a cult sort of way. You got your Motorheads and what other bands?
Consistency.
You know, I mean, even David Bowie had a cult following, right? You know, that tells you how big you can take it. We want to take it on a different level, insofar as the one. Actually, someone was talking to me about what lights do you use on stage and all this, and I was trying to explain to him that the most visual thing about Killing Joke is the audience itself when we start playing, you know, and how important the audience is to us, and their commitment to the band, because now we have a colossal cult following, and it is just like left us flabbergasted that like everywhere we go it's absolutely sold out, you know.
Turning away.
You see, the situation you've got to get yourself into, I think, if you're a band, right, that's not taking a commercial direction, is that you get to the extent that you're so big people can't ignore you anymore. Yet they don't particularly like playing your music on the radio. They don't particularly, but they cannot ignore you anymore. This is Killing Joke now. Right, this is the situation. I think record companies and promoters, they find themselves with because it's ridiculous looking the other way now, because it's too big. It's too big. We're selling out big places now. We haven't played Birmingham for a while, and I'll tell you why. Because they spit here, and I hate that. Right, you know, we swore to us, oh, we're never playing Birmingham again because they spit so much here, more than anywhere, any other country, anywhere else I've ever played.
Well, I mean, this is all tied up with punk, isn't it? I mean,
Sure.
Yeah, it's all tied up with people's need to categorise everything. That's what it's really tied up with.
what do you feel about punk? I mean, the word punk and
Well, I despise the word. I see it, I like whatever people wear, right? I like to see people as individuals, right? And especially around Killing Joke, we see people as individuals, right? If they wear, listen, I always wear black. You never see me,
Right.
or rarely see me in any other colours than black, because it's the way I feel, right? You know, sometimes I wear a studded belt. Often, in fact, every day I wear my Dr. Martens, right? But at the same time, I studied music, and I don't think anyone would call me a punk, right? You know, but it's just the way I feel.
So how do you feel then when you look out from the stage and there's a sea of punk? I mean, identical-looking
A
punks.
sea of identical-looking punks. It's a widely varied audience. Always.
I would say, go so far as to say they are savage. They are the one thing got in common, right? Is these people are savage, right? The people who commit themselves to Killing Joke, they've got a different sense of morals to just ordinary Duran Duran fans or whatever, you know. I mean, you know, it is just really, it's different. The audience that is forming now, they haven't got any moral sense. I and we together collectively try and encourage this within the music, right? It is primal music, right? It is simple music. It inspires willpower. We believe that we live in a time now where the willpower is more important than the intellect. Therefore, we play savage music, and we perfect savage music, right? That inspires people to be hardened.
I've got to ask you this. You're probably sick up to the back teeth, or whatever the phrase is, with this. But I suppose the biggest amount of publicity the band got was when you decided to go off and have a little jaunt.
Yeah, I went to Iceland, right? And I'll tell you exactly why I went to Iceland, and I'll simplify it and get rid of all this silly speculation that's been going around. I went to Iceland because what I was doing basically is what I'm doing now again, right? Going around different cities in Great Britain, looking at a civilization I see on the decline. When I went to Iceland, I knew a few things. I knew that this place called Iceland, right, has no army. this place called Iceland has no pollution, right? The total population of this country is 150,000, and I was given 9 square miles of land, right, to do what I wanted with, and a lovely flat in Reykjavik, and private aircraft all around the island, you know. So it seemed like a damn good idea for me to start something different over there, you know, and create my own future. Unfortunately, the publicity I had with the papers and the daily papers and all that made my life an utter misery there. And I'm back here now, but with a great new Killing Joke, the best Killing Joke that's been yet. We have the most articulate and the most intense Killing Joke at the moment, and I'll continue the relevance of this to Iceland. If you consider, I mean, I had funny ideas in my head. I like taking music to extremes. If you consider that if everyone in the British tour that we did come to Iceland, we'd almost double the population. I am committed to what I do in Killing Joke. I want to shape my future. I'm 23 years old, right? And I know that there's no future in this country, right?
In what way?
Well, look at it. Let's say you were a gambling man, okay? Okay, and you bet on the odds. Now, look how many weapons, those, you know, nuclear weapons there are, right? What are the odds of A, anyone surviving in this country, and B, one of those things going off that will spark the lot going off? What are the odds? Say if you were gambling, you were betting, look at the odds, and then you know, right? Then you know where the future lies. Then you know you must take a realistic attitude. Then you know that the only true optimism lies in realism. And this is what we deal with in Killing Joke and the music. When you come to a Killing Joke gig, right, and when you listen to our music, you get a glimpse of how we see the future. A more savage world. A world where the willpower is more important than the intellect.
So are you going to jaunt off again to Iceland soon?
No, we're going to all move out of the country, though. Our intentions are to become tax exiles at the first possible opportunity, because that is how we must be honest to ourselves, right? Yeah, we're going to move out of the country, and we invite anyone to come along with us, just like I intended to do with Iceland, basically. But again, collectively, my mistake was that I did it on my own, and I didn't do it collectively. But yeah, I want to, I own land in India, right? I intend to buy some land in the Canary Islands, and there's many places we can get our hands on, right? Any way we can, right? We intend to start what we believe in.
Okay, as I say, you must be sick of talking about Iceland, so we'll talk to Raven. Do you feel that as a, well, you're not a new member anymore, but being relatively new, have you brought any changes to the band?
Sure, yeah.
Damn right, yes.
I actually came in at a point of change anyway, which, and my 25%, you know what I mean, added to that change, if you like. And the whole situation when I came into was somehow, I think, very different from how it was before. It was like the tree had been shaken and all the rotten bits had dropped off.
Totally. We ditched our old management. The new music which Raven's been writing a lot of is considerably different to the old music. Fire Dances to me is our ultimate album. It's more articulate because his bass playing is better than our old bass player. He can actually play and play in time, right? And
chew gum at the same time.
And chew gum at the same time. The gigs are better. More people are coming to the gigs even. So yeah, there is a considerable change in the music, definitely, and the sense of humour also, I would say, yeah. We have a unique direction, I think, you know, and we all feel very, very much the same about the future, and we're very more than optimistic about the future.
How do you work as a band? Are you very democratic? You seem to speak most.
I've got a big mouth.
Mutual prostitution.
I'm glad you said that. Your muscles are bigger than mine. I wasn't going to say that. But, I mean, do you work democratically?
Sort of. We're just, well,
we don't
all tyrants, 4 tyrants, if you can call that being democratic.